we're going to read a story called This is the Stable by Cynthia Cotton, illustrated by Delana Batoli. This is the stable, dusty and brown, in a quiet corner of Bethlehem town. This is the star whose light shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the manger, filled with hay, to feed the animals sheltered away from the chilly night when the star shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the cow with a swishing tail, whose gentle moo hushed a baby's wail. This is the donkey, gray and white, who stood near the manger all through the night. They both kept watch while the star shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the mother, her manner so mild, singing and rocking her newborn child. This is her husband, patient and wise, guarding his family with watchful eyes. Together they settled the little one down in the quiet stable, dusty and brown. These are the shepherds tending their sheep out in the fields while the town was asleep. These are the angels, a glorious throng, who sang to the shepherds a wonderful song. Be not afraid, go to Bethlehem town, to the quiet stable, dusty and brown. These are the wise men, travelers three, who knew of an ancient prophecy. They followed the star, whose light shone down on the quiet stable, dusty and brown. These are their gifts, so fine to behold, frankincense, myrrh, and glistening gold. They carried these presents up hill and down till they reached the stable, dusty and brown. This is the baby born that night in the stable marked by the star so bright, a baby boy who cooed and cried and looked around with eyes so wide. Then, cuddled and swaddled, he laid his head on the soft, sweet hay in his manger bed, and slept in the stable in Bethlehem town, the quiet stable, dusty and brown. This is the stable, dusty and brown, in a quiet corner of Bethlehem town. With the coo of a dove for a lullaby, the little one slumbered with barely a cry, safe in the warmth of light and love, while all through the night in the heavens above, the angels sang and the star shone down on the quiet stable in Bethlehem town, the quiet stable, dusty and brown. The end. So this story today was about a baby who was born. The baby that was born is Jesus. Jesus was born from his mother, Mary, and his father, Joseph. Joseph is Jesus' father on earth, but Jesus' father is God in heaven. So God sent Jesus to Mary, and Joseph was his father on earth to watch over him. This is the nativity scene. The nativity shows Jesus on the day he was born. Jesus was with his mother Mary and Joseph. There were shepherds who came to see, who were told from angels to go and see the new king born. So we are going to create our own picture of the nativity scene. We have a tradition in our faith of the nativity scene. The nativity scene is something that reminds us of the true meaning of Christmas, which is that it was the day that Jesus was born. So you might see nativity scenes that are set up maybe by your church with real people playing the roles of Mary, and maybe there are real animals just like there would have been at the real nativity when Jesus was born. Or you might have a little nativity scene at your house on your prayer table or maybe near your Christmas tree. We have this tradition to remind us of the true meaning of Christmas. So we are going to make our own nativity scene today. It's going to look somewhat like this, except for yours will have the blue painted background that you worked on yesterday. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to make the nativity scene. We are going to make our very own nativity scene on paper. So you should have a yellow piece of paper, a brown piece of paper, an oval, a circle, and a star. You're also going to need the blue piece of paper that you painted in your last lesson. Hopefully it's dry. You'll also need a glue stick, scissors, and a black crayon or marker. If you don't have black, just use any color that works. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by making the outline of the stable. So the stable was the building that Jesus was born in. And a stable is where the animals sleep. So it's kind of like a barn. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some tear art. So we're going to take our brown piece of paper and we're going to tear it up to make the outline of the stable. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I want to encourage you to use the tear art and not your scissors for this. So you're just going to tear strips of brown paper. And they do not have to be perfect, okay? Just start by making strips of paper, okay? Like I said, they don't have to be perfect. They can be any size. I wouldn't make them too tiny because then it's going to take you quite a while to get them glued on. So once we have a good bit of our brown paper torn up, we are going to make our stable. So what I like to do is take my glue and put my glue directly onto the blue paper in the shape that I want my stable. So you can do kind of an arch like I had in the last picture, or maybe you want to do it kind of more like the outline of a house, so with a roof. Make sure you do this quickly because your glue will dry pretty quick. So I have kind of an outline here, and I'm just going to take the pieces and press down until they form my stable all the way around. You might have to reapply your glue if it's drying while you're putting it on. So to make sure that these stick on nice and good, bring it around. Might fit a piece right there. And probably one right here too. Okay, so I have my outline of my stable. Now I'm going to use the leftover brown paper to make the manger. Remember, the manger is what they laid baby Jesus in after he was born. A manger is what the animals eat out of. That's where they eat their hay. So we're going to make a manger like in our book that we just read. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just doing our best. I like to use skinnier strips that are like skinny and long to help make my manger. Again, I would suggest putting your glue onto the blue piece of paper first and then sticking your paper on. And I'm going to kind of make a crisscross pattern of my manger like this. There might be some extra glue around there, and that's okay because it'll dry and it'll look great. So maybe one more piece right here. All right, now maybe we'll put one more there. There we go. Now we're going to put some hay in our manger. That's where we're going to use our yellow piece of paper and our scissors. So what you're going to do is cut little strips of your yellow paper. So I'm going to cut into the edge of my paper, and I want my hay to be kind of skinnier, so I'm not going to make them too wide. And I'm just going to make cuts into my paper like this. And I don't have to go all the way across the paper because I don't need that many pieces of hay. Now I'm going to cut them across. See how I cut into the paper about this deep? So I'm just going to cut across and my little pieces of hay will come down. Now I can glue my hay into my manger. So I'm going to put the glue onto the manger first because it will be pretty tricky to try and put your glue onto the little tiny piece of paper. So that's why I always like to put it onto the bigger piece of paper and just cover up a good area. And we're going to just lay our hay into the manger. I'm going to lay mine this way. And make sure you press down on them so that they stick down nice and good. And maybe I'll even do some that go the other way too, because I have a few extra pieces. If you want to cut more and put more hay in there, you can definitely do that. Okay. So I have my stable, my manger, and my hay inside of the manger. Now, who's going to go inside of my manger? Baby Jesus. So the oval is baby Jesus's body because he's wrapped up in a warm cloth. So I'm going to put my glue onto my hay. And I'm going to stick the oval right on top because Jesus is laying in the manger. Next, I'm going to take this little circle because this is going to be Jesus's head. So I'm going to give a little circle right here onto my paper. And I'm going to stick his head right on top. Now, Jesus has eyes and a mouth, so I'm going to take my black crayon or marker or whatever color you have, and I'm going to draw him 2 eyes and a nice mouth like this. Then I'm going to take my star. Remember in our story, that star shone down on the manger. That star showed the shepherds where to go, and it also will show the wise men where to go too. So it was showing where Jesus was. You can put your star anywhere up here in the sky. So I'm just going to put mine right over here. All right, now we have our whole nativity scene. Make sure you leave it out somewhere nice to dry.